Hey there, I'm Anthony from DESelect, and in today's interview, I will be talking with Julien Coatelen, Practice Lead at Blue Wolf and leader of the Paris Marketing Cloud User Group. We talk about how to deliver and be well while on challenging projects, and we also cover many useful tools and remind ourselves to stay human in this ever more digital context. If you have a question for us, just leave it in the comments. Meanwhile, just relax, sit back, and enjoy. Hi, Julien. Welcome to this series.
Thank you, Anthony.
Nice. We're very...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, nice to be with you today.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you. Thanks for making the time for us. Now, for those who don't know you yet, could you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So my name is Julien Coatelen. I am the Salesforce Marketing Cloud Practice Leader at Blue Wolf, an IBM company. I have been working on Marketing Cloud since 2013, where I built my first Marketing Cloud team at Deloitte Digital, progressively during 5 years. And in 2016, I have created the Salesforce Marketing Cloud User Group in France, which has now 500 members almost. And more recently, I have been elected marketing champion by Salesforce.
That's quite a background. One thing stood out there for me. I think you mentioned you've been working with Marketing Cloud since 2013, you said?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I was the first official partner at this time with another company where we used to work with exact targets before the purchase from Salesforce in 2014.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I remember hearing about Exact Target when I was on a Salesforce project myself at a big pharma company. And they were thinking about getting Exact Target. Then they chose not to. And then 2 weeks later, it was announced that Salesforce would acquire Exact Target. So it's funny how those things go.
Exactly. So yeah, and furthermore, it's a bit more strategic because I used to work with Pardot and Exact Target, and Exact Target purchased Pardot and Salesforce purchased Exact Target, and they got both Pardot and Exact Target solutions in their suite. So it's also interesting to get the full story about marketing automation solutions kit in the Salesforce ecosystem.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that. I didn't realize you were also familiar with Pardot. That this is how I ended up with Marketing Cloud. First, I went through the Pardot route, and then that's cool. Now, you also mentioned that you've become a Salesforce marketing champion this year. So congratulations. What does it mean to you to be nominated?
Well, the Marketing Champions program is an amazing journey that allows marketing experts around the world to give back to the community. So it is all about sharing experience and passion. These recognitions also help us to get more visibility and to exchange with other marketing champions in a first time. But to be honest, you must be a marketing champion before becoming officially a marketing champion in this program. So it is a natural continuity in my investment with the French community of marketers, and a good opportunity to express my knowledge of digital marketing.
Right. So it's almost more like a recognition of all the work you've already been doing. It's not now that you have, it's not like this new title just gives you new rights, I suppose.
Basically, you find some marketing champions that really get like a new status. For me, as I used to be also the Salesforce Marketing Cloud User Group, I already got some kind of status in France, but with this new program coming, it's also a new recognition, which is also dissociated. And for me, it's more like an opportunity to connect with other marketing champions, because with my hat of user group leader, it's all about sharing with the community. And with the marketing champion, it's more with like a more global network around the world.
Indeed. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, actually talking about your French user group, what kind of activities do you guys do?
Actually, I'm very proud of our French marketing community. Indeed, it has been a long trail to understand and engage every individual members about their expectations, I remember our first meeting like 5 years ago with only few participants at the beginning, and it took time to reach out our first 100 attendees on site. Tomorrow, for
Wow.
example, we have a webinar with the user group, and we managed to get very quickly our first 50 registered with active members only, with only a post on WhatsApp. So right now the event is like 130 to 25, 30 registered persons, composed of Salesforce clients, partners, and much more. So we propose exclusive contents for marketing lovers to improve their skills and also to enjoy some good moments with other marketers. So that's the spirit of our user group, quality of contents, focus on marketing, and also good vibes. So good exchange with each other.
That's great. And did I hear you say correctly that you guys also use a WhatsApp group?
Exactly. So it has been like some test and learn to define which are the best channels to engage our community. We started with the success group of Salesforce, like the official user group on the website. And after that, we have quickly created a LinkedIn page, a group, to as a mirror community for those who are not usually go to the success group on Salesforce. And after that, we wanted to be more real time. You know, for you're in an event and you want to push some real time message. To interact with the community, we created this WhatsApp group, which is also to propose some other kind of content, and we try to push like more innovative and recent articles and posts on LinkedIn, more like our main communication on the user group, and like help and support in there, and real-time message on WhatsApp. Also, we tried to get an initiative on Slack during the lockdown, but just trying and testing everything to get some feedback from the community.
Yeah, it stood out to me because in the Dutch user group, we also use WhatsApp, which it's not per se a Salesforce technology. So it's interesting that in different groups they refer to the same technologies. But we also typically use it not for like general knowledge sharing or articles, but it's rather about like big community updates, or maybe someone's looking, like maybe someone has a new job posting. That also happens.
Yeah, more and more the community also, we receive some requests about job, like a marketplace where we can find offer on demand around job needs and requests. Also for diverse kind of extra use of the community. But yes, we are opportunists, and we don't want to close door where we have some specific requests, not only about content and experience feedback, but also around some kind of other topics. Yeah.
I'm also curious about Slack because we use it in our company all the time, but I haven't seen it being used in a user group. So how is that working out?
Actually, I started the app for the Slack one. The Slack. Actually, I created some channels where you have the administration, the creative management, data management, tracking and reporting. So you have very dedicated certification, and you're supposed to find the right channel based on recurring questions or specific questions that you could have as a member. And basically, the Slack channel is really to make people help with each other, but to help them to contribute as proactively with the community. And I found that more partners were engaged with that, but less like daily users. So it was more about some questions where you're stuck. So the initial group, the success group, is maybe redundant. It's maybe like duplicate platform for this kind of use.
Okay, it's good to know. Yeah, I know there's also this email specialist user group. I might have the name a bit wrong, but I know there's a very active community there for the Marketing Cloud, right? Either way, we'll make sure for the listeners and the viewers that we put all the links to the LinkedIn group, your own user group, and the Slack channels. We'll put it all in the resources of this video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Yeah.
Aside that, is there something that you feel like makes the Salesforce, the French Salesforce community unique or maybe different from other communities?
Yeah, interesting question. Actually, I think that the French people are somehow very reserved. I mean that marketing experts don't expose their knowledge very easily by a certain first hand, and new users, like not mature users, could be very shy in that hand. So but once we create confidence as a team, we manage to be very creative together and also to gather a large audience during our events. But what makes us so successful as one of the larger user group over the world, not owned by Salesforce because they have very big user groups, is that we execute our own advices and we keep improving over the time, trying new formats of events to find what people really love.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic to me. Being Belgium, I'm right in the middle between Paris and Amsterdam. So, sometimes you see the Dutch culture, which is notoriously direct, and indeed the French culture tends to be a bit more reserved, and I think more built towards relationships and building trust, which is also a good thing, of course. But it's just a different way of working.
Yeah. So to be concrete, we have tried some, some organization of the room with like something like we pitch and there is a large audience in front of us, like physically. We tried by group of people with like mini workshop where they can work together. We try to split the room in three main parts, inviting some third-party ISVs or like external pitcher. And basically, we got some very interesting feedbacks about the different organization where we managed to get the interactions with people, and that's why today we really want to make something oriented to workshop to make our members like more proactive and more engaged with our content.
That sounds really interesting, but I do wonder now, given the pandemic, how are you going about these kind of things?
Yeah, so the webinar that we're making tomorrow, which is like an online workshop, will get some time on demo and how to process, and we keep some time for them to do the job by their side. So the goal is to have this interaction with us, with them, so we can show some nice content, simple step-by-step like tutorial, and after that they have some free time where they can execute by their side, and we get some real-time interactions about what you think about this. Have you managed to get that successful by your side, and what is some example of a use of this feature for your own industry, or this kind of interactions. So we have a red line and after that it's all about interactions.
Yeah, we're currently doing a pilot with a very large customer, and as part of the pilot, we're setting all these success criteria and doing workshops. And actually, it was a client who came up with this tool. I hadn't heard of it before. It's called Mural, and essentially they have this big whiteboard kind of thing, but digitally. Are you using some tools like that yourself?
Exactly. So Mural is a good example of the way we are interacting with the community, and even on all the on-site events, we used to work with this kind of interactions with like a tool which is called what's the name again? Poll Everywhere. So Poll Everywhere is also an interesting tool where we can interact and make some real-time poll integrated in the PowerPoint. So keep the flow of the presentation. And we get some real-time statistics in the screen integrated on the mobile device or web device, some feedback from the audience. So it's very interesting also to adapt from the offline or online universe the different tool, and for the current context with the distance, then it's very, very interesting to get this kind of mural tool, and we use that a lot, of course.
Great. Yeah, I love these concrete recommendations. So we'll make sure to put it all in the comments so people can find it and try it for themselves. And yeah, I'll try mural myself a bit more. Seems interesting. Actually, if we now shift gears for a second and go to your career, you've already mentioned you've worked for several consulting firms. You're currently at Blue Wolf. So I imagine that throughout your career, you've probably done a few exciting projects. Was there one that stood out the most for you?
Say again?
Was there one project that stood out the most for you?
Yeah. Actually, Marketing Cloud allowed me to travel all around the world, and I have a very good memories of a project in South Africa, which
Wow,
was
okay.
not only interesting for the multi-cloud dimension, but also for the human experience. We often pitch, the importance of customer experience, but we are the first concerned on our own projects regarding the delivery and the team experience. This project was a great success in all aspects: delivery, innovation, team's commitment, human and cultural experience. And I recommend you once in your life to visit Cape Town, which is an amazing city, really. Really love that.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I haven't been there myself, but my co-founder, our CTO, Jonathan, has been there. And actually, when he was there, he sent back a selfie with penguins. That's actually how we got the idea of using penguins for DESelect. So I've seen pictures, I can tell you that much. uh, and what about challenging projects? Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Mm. We also often speak about digital transformation. My vision on digital transformation is uh, really challenging, as it includes transformation in technology, business model, team spirit, delivery, and like governance models, many aspects. So I remember a very challenging project where this transformation happened almost all at once, like in every dimensions. I saw in 1 year the full company transforming its rooms to welcome agile boards with post-it like everywhere, migrating from Adobe technology to Salesforce Marketing Cloud, from like a very internal team to like an extended team with us, and also with a totally updated, accelerated release management. They were all dependent with each other, with the different teams. So the change management has been very important. And with a step back, I think that nobody were ready to such a big challenge, but we made it thanks to the right people around the table and a very good vision about what we wanted to achieve at the end.
And it sounds like a lot of stuff was going on in that project. Was it sometimes like hard for you personally? Where like was it personally challenging?
Uh, yes, my personal issue, I would say, is that sometimes you have many solicitations in the same time, and the real challenge is to bring the right quality and to get the right time for the mission that you want to deserve. So yeah, my personal point is that I'm very active and very active person, and I want to be everywhere. So I mostly try to get my personal and professional life balanced. So yeah,
How does that work if you're a consultant?
uh, it's all about self limits, and also the passion that you have with your work. I started as a consultant before becoming a manager and a practice leader. And basically, being a consultant, I used to do more than what my company expected from me, because I totally loved that. So it was all about research, eminence. It was all about like organizing events, making the user group, and making some relationship, networking with the community, with our partners. And all that is not part of my initial job. It's
Sure.
something that I wanted to do because I love that. And it has been, it also helped a lot for sure to create who I am today.
Oh yeah, of course, and I can relate. Don't get me wrong. I mean, otherwise we'd not be doing this interview in the first place. But you're also right. It's all about prioritization, if I can call it that. That's
Yeah.
one of my constant struggles as well, to be honest. Like in general, do you have some tips for maybe let's say newer people in your team or at other consulting firms who are maybe having a tough time managing their time, and dealing with the personal stress? Even, do you have some recommendations there?
Um, well, yeah, for the joke, I would say to stress people that if you can't measure performance of what you're working on, then nobody will be able to speak about failure, neither success, of course. What I mean here is that stress is correlated to misunderstand. The more you test and the more you know about your project, the less stress you have. And actually, there is no way to stress as far as you follow best practices in our job. So, and you're not alone. You can be helped by Marketing Cloud community, by myself as a marketing champion, by the Salesforce support also, which can help you in your daily life and daily work, by your success manager if you have any on your project. So just have a deep breath, relax, and find the reason why you're stressed and get rid of any anxiety, because there is no reason, but get prepared as much as possible.
Oh yeah, of course. And actually, I think that tip is spot on. You just remind me of my very first Salesforce project ever. It was a Sunday night. I was super stressed about one of my first workshops ever as a consultant the next day. And common sense would say, "Oh, relax, have a glass of wine or something." But instead, I applied myself to studying, and that actually gave me the knowledge and confidence the next day to handle it.
Uh, I mean, as far as you really focus on your objectives and you prepare, you test a lot, then it's going all right. But sometimes stress is really linked to a lack of anything. I made a study a few weeks before, and one of my questions were related to your daily issues on Marketing Cloud, and I listed a lot of lack of technical expertise, lack of knowledge, lack of whatever. There was like a dozen of different issues, and basically what I found is that a lack of technical experts also was one of the main aspects of anxiety in the company. So yeah, most of marketers are really anxious because they don't
Mm.
have these technical skills internally or themselves. So for that, I think that we have some incoming questions that will be an answer also for that kind of answer for the stress.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, I mean the being dependent on technical expertise is of course very stressful for non-technical users like marketers typically. But before we dig deeper into that, I was also wondering, like on these projects you've had, best practices usually say stay close to out of the box,
Mm.
follow Salesforce guidelines. Nonetheless, customers come up with all kinds of custom requirements, and sometimes for good reasons. Like, don't get me wrong. But what is like the most extraordinary or unique feature that you've ever had a customer request you?
I see recurring needs from my clients about features that are not yet existing in Marketing Cloud. And sometimes I request my team to build it. Some of our custom development has been released by Salesforce in the product roadmap, like the release management or service that we created like years ago. But it
Oh,
was
you wait, wait,
funny
wait,
to manage
hold
this
on.
kind of
You
features before most of Marketing Cloud users can use it in the solution in Marketing Cloud. I saw many kind of extraordinary custom features built on Marketing Cloud, like connectors with different third-party solutions. But what I find most impressive is the adaptation of standard digital marketing assets applied specifically for Marketing Cloud. I can give you some example of that. For example, you can create a fully custom attribution model to measure the uplift of marketing initiatives regarding the global turnover of the company within Marketing Cloud, or you can also build some kind of RFM segmentation tool built to build like 4 to 11 standard segments of customers based only on purchase data. And this kind of use, which are totally adapted like from digital marketing knowledge and best practices over the tool, the technology, is what is the most impressive, is how we can adapt this kind of digital best practices on the platform to create value.
I like that you pointed out RFM. We've also written about that, and with all the data that typical customers will store in Marketing Cloud, it's definitely up there. Now, as you know, at DESelect, we create an app to help marketers create those kind of advanced segments without SQL, for instance. To what extent has segmentation been a pain on your projects? I mean, I'd love to hear what challenges you've encountered.
Advanced segmentation is really hard for not technical marketers, as it requires SQL in Marketing Cloud. So that's why a tool like DESelect for me is really an advantage for functional teams that don't have any technical architects or developers like internally, or for more independence regarding them, because sometimes you do have this kind of technical people in the team, but their velocity is fully committed to their own project. So you can't really bother them to create your segmentation. You're supposed to be autonomous on your digital campaign, your marketing campaign. It's very much more nice to be autonomous and independent on your campaign and integrated this kind of advanced segmentation. So indeed, for more than 50% of marketers on the market, I would say that the only way to operate advanced segment is to request for help or make it by themselves with a tool like DESelect.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for those kind words, by the way. We see a bit of both, right? We see, I would say, especially in the mid-sized corporates, like up to 5,000 employees, it will often be the marketers themselves who do it. But if you go beyond that for real enterprise, the world's biggest automotive companies or FMCG companies come to mind. They do typically have like a centralized marketing automation team with maybe 5 to 15 or even more people. And then they also leverage DESelect just because it's still a bit faster than doing SQL. But good stuff. Aside Marketing Cloud, there's so many new things being released. There's so many modules. What are you still interested in learning? And also just for your own practice, what capabilities do you want to continue building in the future?
This is a very current questions that we have with our partner manager in Salesforce, because there is some kind of enablement, and sometimes, based on the last purchase of Salesforce, we had a lot of news regarding last purchase. We got in the very last years, like the Crux purchase with the DMP, we have Datorama, we have first Thunderheads and Evergage. It was more Evergage for the purchase. At Thunderhead was more like a partnership. But we got many tools in the marketing suite to focus, and also some very interesting partner, let's say, experience to create around Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and Commerce Cloud. So I would say that as a marketing practice leader, I have to get some focus and some play to activate, because we can't invest on every modules, and I have my own focus for sure. So Interaction Studio is really something that I want to get huge expertise on, because the commerce and the web is really a channel which has been released by the context, and even the Commerce Cloud projects are still very well in a good trend. So for sure, to keep this interaction between web and marketing, Interaction Studio is something which is relevant for our future as marketers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Though I think, I mean, just being familiar with all of these tools to some extent, yeah, things like Crux, the DMP nowadays, that's such a different beast altogether from like the normal Marketing Cloud. Even within Marketing Cloud, Mobile Studio is, very different from Email Studio. How do you pick your battles?
My choice, you mean? How
Mhm.
I select my place? I would say that is part of maybe half some interaction that I have with solution architects and the people that are very close to the roadmap and product team in Salesforce. And also, in the other hand, it will be deeply linked to the demands of my own clients. As I have a lot of interactions with my own clients, Salesforce partners, also the marketing ecosystem with the different interactions that we get with the users. Yeah, it's like a own maturity on the matter, and then I would invest more in some parts and less in other ones. Yeah, for sure.
Of course, that makes total sense. Um, in general, this may be a hard question to answer because we can't look into the future. But what do you think would be the next big thing in the Salesforce ecosystem in, let's say, in the coming 3 years, let's say?
There is a huge, I got a very interesting meeting with a key a key exec man in the Salesforce based in the US, and he was speaking about the few years back about the Salesforce stack. And today it's clearer than ever, and we know a conversion of many aspects of what he said. So it's not about the interface, but also the platform. For me, the one strategic play today would be on Customer 360 because it's a really powerful solution, which is also aggregating many issues and an answer to many concerns today. So yeah, it could be central tomorrow on CRM projects, and by CRM I mean customer relationship management, which could be Service Cloud, Community Cloud, Commerce Cloud, or Marketing Cloud. And this Customer 360 could be like a central vision about a starting point on the data quality and on many aspects to begin with.
And potentially even the orchestration of journeys, the way I see it, because all the data will come there. Though I think the challenge will be like finding the people in your organization who can be the orchestrators, of course.
Yeah, data is really key. It has always been key, but more than ever, marketers and companies do have to leverage their mentality and their skills on the data. And I think that these technical issues that we mentioned earlier is really limiting as the art of the possible, because when I start a project, a Marketing Cloud project, most of the time we set up Marketing Cloud and we try to start on quick wins. And we have two options here. The first option is that they have the right people in their team and we can leverage the solution. And by the right people, I mean most of the time technical people. And if they don't have technical people, then they are more dependent to us as a partner. And if we want to create value in terms of segmentation, personalization, journey logic, it's very important to get some quick wins really quick after the setup is done. And the maturity of their team is part of the success of a project. So also, I mean, not speaking about platform, but also speaking about knowledge or expertise, it's really important to get the right team. And we used to speak about marketers, but for me it's just finish. Today we are speaking about data marketers, and if as a marketer you don't have any data knowledge, then it's really hard on this kind of advanced solution like Marketing Cloud to really get 100% of its capacities.
All right, absolutely. I think that's a really powerful recommendation and a piece of advice from someone with the experience to back it up to close down this episode. However, do you still have any closing thoughts that you would like to share with the audience, or any message you would like to share?
Actually, I think that we spoke about a lot of different topics, but I would only add that in this changing world, we need more than ever to remain vigilant, to secure this in-between phase we are currently living. As a marketer, find people where they are, your clients, your partners, etc., with the right message, which is also something that we keep repeating. But what is new is that being human over company-centric is very, very, very important, showing that life keep going and that you can help them in this transition as a company. So yeah, my advice would be, the last word would be on this human interaction, which is not only between the mark and the customers, with less pressure, less sur-solicitation and more personalization, but also with our teammates and our teams to be also more human in this context. We speak about simple things, but like switching on the camera and getting some interactions all together. So yeah, I think that as far as we don't get the last word of this transition, we need to stay human, which is maybe the best thing in this time.
Stay human in a digital era. I think that's a great message. Julien, it was an absolute pleasure having you on this episode. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.